everyone, Joe here with All Funnies and Games, and we're doing our first drawing video. What I really wanted to do with this picture was I really like drawing things that kind of play with ideas of what's scary, what could be scary, all of that. So with this one, I just wanted to do a classic orc, but kind of give it my take. So we were looking at doing the classic orc here, and you can see me using the blue pencil tool to kind of trace out the initial outline. I wanted to start with something predatory, because a big thing that I really wanted to make happen with this, and one of the things that I wanted to play off of as far as a fear that I can put into an orc goes, is some of those primal fears of a predator. I really wanted some primal predator fears to come into this, so I'm basing it initially off of this picture I found of a fox. I'm using that as a reference here. Just a quick copy paste, dropping it into the art picture as I do it there. I was still kind of at this point trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to where I wanted the joints to bend, how much I wanted it to be human, how much I wanted it to be clearly inhuman. In the end, I did end up tweaking quite a lot of this, because really I bulked it up enough that I think right here I'm about to take off these weird legs that some dogs and stuff have, in favor of just like human legs, but clearly still this horizontal prowl to the creature I'm drawing here. I really wanted this orc to have some interesting features. So yeah, you can see I'm kind of changing up the legs there a little bit just to make it all seem to work. I'm going to go through some of this a little bit faster here. So yeah, trying to get like just a foot right there. I'm okay at feet. It definitely takes some doing. But yeah, I wanted to thin out the head a little bit there. Really see what I can do to make this thing not only clearly a predator, but clearly uncanny. I wanted it to feel almost human, but not quite, in most of its visual mannerisms that come across in the drawing here. So yeah, and then at this stage, I'm really just using this layer to play around with what I wanted the shape to look like. At this point, you really just want to do things, figure out the shape, figure out how you want it to look. I think at this point, I'm trying to get the feel I want with a felt pen tool, but in the end, I think I did end up going back to the ink pen tool. It gives a little bit cleaner line, which I like, and it just kind of works better for my style. I do want to say, I'm mostly doing this because it's fun. I like doing this kind of thing. I'm not going to say I'm amazing at drawing. I'm really, really not. But I can do some stuff, and I do enjoy it. And I really think that's what a lot of it's about. You don't have to be phenomenally good at this to really get some good enjoyment out of it, and for it to be a worthwhile use of your time, to just enjoy doing this kind of thing. So yeah, you can see I'm kind of inking over it. I've got a new layer going for this. And I'm still kind of playing around with the layers and figuring out when I like to change layers, because sometimes I'm doing it well, sometimes, and as you'll see in this video, I make too many layers where I didn't want that many. So yeah, so this is where I decided I kind of wanted to give it a little bit of an underbite. That's sort of the classic orc look. And this very human, just hair on top of the head, nowhere else really. Yeah, people have some body hair, but we're not really anything like animals in that sense. So there are parts of this that I wanted very animalistic. There are other parts of this that I really wanted to make sure were very almost human. The uncanny really relies on something being almost human. That's where a pose like this, the hunching shoulders, the where I wanted to give it a very solid musculature, but not really a toned musculature, because we're so used to seeing very toned musculature, especially in celebrities, whatever else. So yeah, you can see I'm just kind of darkening up some of the features here. I just took out the backdrop piece of this while I figure out kind of how I want some of this to look. Yeah, and then tweak to the layers. This is one of the neatest layer tricks I ever found. I think I saw it in a video where a woman was drawing herself depicted as several different Disney villains, and you draw the outline, and then you do your coloring layer, and you do it on a different layer from the outline layer and put it at a lower layer so that everywhere you overlap with that base color, you go under it instead of over it, and it's huge. It makes this whole process so much easier. That alone is worth the price of trying to do, try out digital art instead of always sticking with physical. So yeah, doing some shading here. And this was where I made a mistake with the layers, I think, because I did this shading. I wanted to try it out as an opaque layer. Or I wanted to play with the opacity to get the shading to feel right for me. And I did it as a separate layer to make that happen. And it made altering the colors later very, very hard to have those on separate layers. I ended up having to merge the layers, which, good news, now I know how to merge layers, but it did kind of mess it up a little bit for me, just not knowing what to do about that right off the bat, So yeah, you can see I'm giving a little bit more detail and definition to the muscle. You do have to do some, even when it's not highly defined. There needs to be a little bit of definition there. And then I've got it in these kind of tribal clothes that's very classically orcish. And I'm sure there's a whole post-colonial commentary on tribal clothes evoking the other to Europeans. For me, I'm playing up fantasy. That's all I'm doing here. Getting the shading in and just really making this feel like a very, very brutal creature, something to be afraid of. And this isn't the most nightmare fuel thing ever. This is supposed to be more intimidating than existentially horrifying. Definitely wanted those red eyes. It's just, there's something about the red eyes that really evokes that horror sense, right? And then here I was just trying to get like a good ivory on this. I wanted off-white that, had a little bit of a dingy look to it. And obviously the way this orc moves, that shawl is going to be trailing on the ground pretty often. So I wanted to dirty up the ends of it and make it pretty clear that that's what that was supposed to be. So I'm adding a little more shading to the clothes now. Yeah, and here I found just that shade that I did at the bottom worked perfect to just depict like body painting done in mud. And yeah, having that like that was just super fun. So yeah, I did a little handprint on the leg there to really make this look as, home done as possible, and little bits of blue detailing on the shawl there to really make it feel like kind of maybe a religious vestment, because part of that too, like beyond the fear narrative, I like just strong world building that makes, this civilization feel like a civilization. So yeah, I'm thinning out the outer lines now that I've kind of got the edges of this thing defined. I'm going to take off some of the paint around the outside. And from there, I think this one's pretty much done. Yeah, I'm just cleaning up the outside a little bit more. And I think that was pretty much it. Yep, signed and sealed. So there is my idea of how to do a real, properly frightening orc. So this drawing video was pretty fun. I might do more like it in the future, but until next time, I've been Joe. This has been All Funnies and Games. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do remember to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, do tell a friend. If you enjoyed this, if you got a friend who you think would enjoy it too, let them know about it, you know? I do this for it to be enjoyed by people. So if you know someone who fits that bill, show it to them, please. And yeah, until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.